Okay, guys, I've been doing this social media thing for quite some time, probably about 7 years. Started out on Facebook. I was actually in this cool group called TFG. It was called the Falk Group. And we were just all content creators just trying to make some things happen. We were posting a lot of stuff on social media. So I decided, outside of the other content that I was doing with them, I was like, you know what, let me start some sports stuff because I really like talking about sports. Because one, I did play sports before, not at the collegiate level, but at a high school level. But at the same time, during that time when I was playing sports, I became a real student of the game. Like I like film watching. I like, analyzing what the tendencies of opponents are. I could probably even gamble with this stuff because what I look at is I look at how teams, the tendencies of teams and how they play against good teams, how they play against bad teams. Like say, for instance, Auburn against Missouri, for example. There's going to be some tendencies that you're going to see leading up to that game that's going to determine what the point spread is going to be. Now, speaking of point spreads, oh, by the way, my bad. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. That's my stage name. My government name is Kennard Vernon Stewart. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Okay, so like I was saying before, I would imagine, I can't say for sure because I'm not in the algorithm of how they come up with, the point spreads and those types of things. But I can imagine they look at games, they look at trends, they look at, injuries, they look at, how the rate of play call and how they handle adversity, blah, blah, blah. So make a long story short, already they've come up with point spreads for certain games, especially for Auburn and Alabama. Now, they're actually picking Georgia to beat Alabama by almost 3 points. Yeah, it's a 3-point spread. I can't think of what the over-under is without looking at it. When Auburn plays Alabama right now, if that game was a week away, they say that Alabama would beat Auburn by 14 points. Okay. Also, we talked about this, in a kind of sort of comical kind of way. Auburn's taking on Georgia in Athens for homecoming. Well, number one, Georgia will be the more talented team. Auburn has made some upgrades to their schedule. I mean, not their schedule, but to their roster, via the transfer portal. And they got some guys coming out of high school, but my goodness, you can't supplement that talent that fast. However, it's 11 guys and it's 60 minutes. And there's a chance. But here's the thing. Auburn hadn't beaten Georgia, in Athens, in Sanford Stadium, in Bulldog Country, in How About Them Dogs, and Hunker Down. They ain't beat them there in almost 20 years. And hadn't beaten them, period, in about 7. And the last few games that Auburn has played in Georgia has owned them, pretty much. At least 17 points. Now, here's the skinny on this. Now, like I told you guys before, they're already coming up with these way too early betting lines. I mean, these folks can't wait. They cannot wait. And not only to add to the excitement of this college football season, I don't know if any of you guys have checked out EA Sports and college football. Look, man, the gameplay that I've been seeing on social media has been incredible. I think that's going to be a huge, huge addition. That's going to add even more content for folks to talk about. Now, I don't have a real dog in the fight because I don't play against other people when I play that game. I never have. I always play because I don't have, to be honest, I'm a little lazy when it comes to playing against other people. I don't feel like, game planning. Like I do it really for leisure purposes. I think I play it on All-American, where most of you guys on varsity or something, whatever it is, right before the hardest part. Heisman. Nah, I play it on All-American. Y'all play it on Heisman. I can't do it. I mean, the gameplay is just too difficult. I don't have that kind of time to be trying to come up with, these elaborate defensive strategies, which I could, but I just don't. But either way, the betting lines are already starting to kind of come out. These guys can't wait. Like, I mean, the excitement surrounding this is huge. You got so many elements of college football that have changed, maybe for the better, maybe for the detriment of the sport. But the SEC adding Texas and Oklahoma has really added such a huge trajectory. I mean, you talk about the Oklahoma and Texas rivalry, which is going to continue, and then the renewal of the Texas versus Texas A&M rivalry. You got Texas A&M versus Arkansas. Kind of like all you're doing is just combining the old Southwestern Conference with the SEC. Something that could have made sense back in the day, but it definitely makes a lot of sense now. You got a huge, let's just say Auburn, for example. When Auburn has that opportunity to face Texas, you got a huge fan base. I mean, a huge alumni base for Auburn in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and other areas of Texas, to where that makes sense. I was super excited about Auburn when Auburn had the opportunity to face Texas A&M, another diverse opponent, another opportunity, travel opportunity. How cool is it going to be? Because Auburn fans are going. They're going to Oklahoma to next year when Auburn faces Oklahoma. The different rivalries that are going to be created because of certain things that may happen in the game. And I think about the only game, and this gets to the meat of the content. The game that I'm going to miss the most consistently. Matter of fact, before we get into that, let's talk about Hugh Freeze, and he has to stop the bleeding, honestly, with where Auburn is as a program. I mean, 6 and 7 is not going to do it. Yep, you're recruiting at a high level, but you're going to be competing against some guys that recruit just as good as you. And I'm hoping that the roll of the dice, and maybe it won't be a roll of the dice, because I think Peyton Thorne has the ability, but the catastrophic mistakes for a veteran quarterback that's almost 23 years old, that has played a lot of football, over the course of 2 different conferences, having 2 different frames of reference, got a pretty good offensive coordinator now. The catastrophic mistakes have to stop. They just have to, Just have to, in order for Peyton Thorne to be the guy that can go down in the history books as being that quarterback that righted the ship at Auburn. Now, most fans looking back at last season say, oh, absolutely not. It's not going to happen. But he's your guy. Unless you can get one of the freshmen to step up if he screws up, right? So, to get to the meat of the video, there is a rivalry that Auburn has that is near and dear to me. I mean, this is a game that I look forward to every year. Matter of fact, it's a rivalry that's so crazy that I even look forward to seeing them play Auburn's rival. Right? There have been so many games that have decided coaches' jobs, that have been iconic, that have been season-changing, that have been remarkable as what a rivalry should be. It doesn't matter how high these teams are ranked, they play each other with an insane amount of intensity every year. And it's a doggone shame. A shame that based on the logistics of this, I don't even know when these two teams are going to play again. Because you got a situation like this. Auburn and this particular team, they have so many nicknames for this game. The pageantry, the intensity, the consequences have been so huge in this game that it's going to take away a huge portion of what the Auburn schedule looking forward to. I mean, it's like a blank spot. It's like a spot missing. Like, where is this team at? Right? LSU is that team, guys. And y'all know it. Y'all know it. Y'all know that is the game that has been stamped as a rivalry, as a true, legitimate, consistent rivalry for Auburn. Now, there's been some blowouts here and there on Auburn's part and LSU part, but this is the most consistent rivalry that Auburn has had, at least in the last, I'd say the last 20 years. As a matter of fact, 1994, the interception game. 1988, when the freaking building behind the stadium was about to burn down. 2004, nobody knew what this Auburn team was going to do. Beat Nick Saban, and I think Kirby Smart was a defensive coordinator for LSU at that time. Epic football game. Continued on down. Last minute play for Les Miles. They won it. LSU won it. 2010, epic battle between Cam Newton and the rest of the LSU football team and his squad. The epic run. Crucial. Nick Marshall struggling his first year, but he found some stride against LSU. This is a huge rivalry, man, and I can't believe it just sucks that these two teams will not play each other this year. If Auburn doesn't get up for any game, whether it's home or away, it's these guys. Auburn's going to get up for LSU. I don't know what it is. I do not know what it is. Geographically, it doesn't make sense for them to be this intense, but the games over the years have created this intense rivalry. I think they're starting to develop that with Texas A&M too, because there have been some pretty cool games there. My favorite, you know what? You wouldn't believe it. I still watch. I will still sit and watch. Thank God for YouTube. I will still sit and watch Auburn versus Texas A&M 2013. That is when I tell you, that is one of my favorite games to watch. And I will watch that sucker like it's my first time watching it. How Auburn just kept fighting and kept keeping themselves in the game and kept Johnny Manziel on the rope. I mean, I thought that was easily one of the most exciting games I've ever seen. Exciting. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. I'll tell you what. I want you guys to continue to support the channel. We're trying to revamp this thing, trying to get a little bit more consistent. But, man, I had to throw this out there. The scheduling is coming out, and I scanned through that thing today, and I was like, you know what, man, there's something missing. There's something missing on this schedule. And it just hit me like somebody sticking a needle in my elbow. Like, damn, LSU is not on the freaking schedule. All right, guys, that's my time here for tonight. My name is Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football down in Deep South. College football is king. Subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. Also become a member and contribute in whatever way you can to the channel via Cash App. That's cool too. But look, this thing is about to get real interesting. I want y'all to buckle this thing up. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. War Dang.